Good, Jeremy. How you doing, bro?
Good. So year two, what changes for you for spring ball? Imagine, you're still teaching a lot of basics, but yeah, how much more groundwork do you have? How much more can you build on?
I'm definitely at a different point this time this year. Having gone through a full calendar year of work and getting to know the roster, getting to know the staff. Building off of what we were doing toward the end of the year. Last season. And so it's been good to have more of review than new install. Obviously tweaking things that we feel will be advantageous for us and fixing some issues that were presented during the course of the year. But for instance, we had a group install today for our base package. The one that now you're able to sort of get the big picture out there to everybody, so everybody can hear what the D line is doing and what they're looking at, or why the secondary is rotating the way it is, and why we're calling certain calls. We're calling this call because it's early downs and it's a good run defense that protects you against RPOs, and just diving into the intricacies of the totality of the defense rather than, okay, this is your assignment in this call, this is what you need to look for from an individual standpoint.
I'm sure it's bittersweet for you to kind of see Kirby going through this draft process because he had such a great year and is close to that. But
not bittersweet, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. But obviously, you got to replace such a great player who's such a strength for you. What are your options at that position, and who can you kind of turn to there?
Well, we had moved Kendall Smith to safety toward the end of the year last year from corner. And I thought he played well when he was in there at the safety's position. Another guy, Prince Green, who redshirted a year ago. He's a big, long, rangy safety that is smart and was really putting a lot of overtime work in this winter session. And then, I'm looking forward to seeing Quan and Sydney's progression. Those guys, the beauty of what Coach B does from a calendar, setting a calendar standpoint is this 8-week cycle they get recruiting or lifting before we head into spring ball. So, the guys look ready to play football right now. And so, I'm excited for those guys. And we got guys in that room that are savvy vets and do we need to make up one person's production from one player? I don't necessarily think that's the case. But I think we can make up that production as a total unit for sure in terms of the turnovers.
And Quan was so good at nickel towards the end of the year, especially. Would you like to keep him there, or does it matter to kind of move him around? Like, obviously, if he's the best player at free safety, you might want him there too.
Right, and that's the kind of the beauty of springtime and going through fall camp. But we're gonna mix and match those guys all over the place, throughout the course of a practice, just because they where they are within the understanding of the scheme, and also trying to figure out what we need to do to get guys in the right spots. Quan he was great at covering the slot. I think he was one of the more underappreciated guys. Just because you don't see his production as much. If a guy's not throwing the ball to the slot receiver, that counts as a win for Quan a year ago, but that doesn't get marked down on a stat sheet. You know what I mean? So, but he looks physically more mature. He's up to, I think he said he weighed 198 pounds today, and he looks the part. And so I'm excited to be able to move him around a little bit and. Sydney's another guy that can play in the slot. I know we put him in the box a year ago, but he's also, one of the quicker, faster guys we got on the team. So it'll be fun just to mix and match those guys and maybe throw some corners in there to cover slot as well.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach. Fans always love to hear about newcomers this time of year, and you got quite a few early enrollees on campus. Who are some guys that have kind of jumped out at you so far in workouts?
Just off the top of my head, from a workout standpoint, T-Raw, he's a hard worker. He's exactly what we thought he was going to be in terms of a motor standpoint. and to be as big as he is and to have as light of feet as he does. I'm excited to see how that translates to the field. Another new Jared Beatty, true freshman. That can be a tall task to step into a collegiate program with the rigors and the schedule that is required to have success. And he has had success through these workouts. He's put on a lot of good weight. Does not look like a freshman. Another guy that has a high motor through the workouts and has been doing extra. I see him up here all the time, meeting with Coach Kane individually, trying to get the defense down. And I'm excited to see what his progress looks like, or what his weight room numbers look like, on the practice field.
How about some redshirt freshmen that we didn't see a lot of last year? Anybody ready to make that jump this year?
Yeah, I mean, like I talked about Prince Green, from the linebacker room, Kanena is another young guy that's explosive. We'll have a litany of new corners that didn't get a lot of snaps a year ago that will get a lot of key snaps this spring. And then one guy up front that's really made leaps has been Sed McConnell. He looks, his body is completely transformed. I know I've sung Tank's praises all year, last year, but what he's done with those guys just solidifies and validates everything I thought about him going into this offseason.
One more quick one, if I could. Elijah McCantos, the cornerback, was pretty highly recruited kid. Looks like a really good athlete on film. But do you think he's ready to play, as a freshman?
I don't know. He had to have. He'll be medically unavailable in the spring. Just had an old high school injury that we were able to get him up here and fix a rehab. So I'll be interested to see what he does in the fall for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
He definitely looks the part, though.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? How are you, man?
What's up, Joey?
Hey, I'm curious about the outside linebacker spot, losing two stalwarts there, and we know Alec has sat out. And what are your impressions of what you have there? And I know obviously Gabe coming in the summer will add to it. But
Yeah,
spring ball.
I'm excited about that group. It's got a chance to be deep if everybody sort of lives up to their potential or what we feel is their potential. Zeke Holmes and Seth Coleman, both played a little bit last year at those spots, and have taken on more of a leadership role, just the way they carry themselves, the way they work out, the way they look, the way they answer questions. And then, you got DJ Johnson, who played a little bit last year, and Jared Beatty, coming in this spring will be awesome. And then Gabe Akis is just from what we've seen, he definitely looks the part. And so, I'm excited for that group, and Coach Kane's done a great job with those guys and getting them to play consistent. And he's done a good job recruiting to that position as well, just getting length and size on the edge for us.
And then you guys, I know Jeremy had asked about the defensive backfield, but kind of replacing the spine of your defense, losing Rob, losing Jake, losing Kirby. How do you go? I mean, it seems like a lot, but is it as much as it seems like to me? Like, what's the process of kind of replacing?
It's weird. Obviously Rod had a lot of meaningful and a lot of good production for us. But when he was out, like Calvin Avery flashed heavy at times. And then, Vertus Brown, when we brought him from offense over to defense, especially in that Iowa game, he had to play a lot. And I thought he played well that game. We added T-Rob, and again, I'm excited to see what he does in the spring. And then, the Mike backer, it was an awkward year because Jake was hurt, pretty much halfway through the year. And so you got to see the emergence of Tariq. And he played lights out. So, it doesn't feel like – it feels like you have a veteran there that's played well and has got a lot of experience. And then, we just talked about Kirby and obviously the amount of turnovers that he was able to gain for us was huge. But I just think we need to – if we have another guy get 5 picks, I'll be happy as heck. But it just doesn't happen every year. You know what I mean? But if we can spread those out amongst the group and get more, I think we can get more turnovers this year than we did last year. Just being another year in the system and understanding what we're trying to do conceptually, and just having another year of football IQ and getting those football one-on-one lessons from Coach B. So obviously we're going to miss a lot of those guys, but that shouldn't deter us from getting to where we need to be defensively.
And then the experience Taz got last year, I mean, does that help with, as a potential person to slide in there and replace Tony opposite of Devin?
Absolutely. You can't teach experience, so anytime you can get those young guys on the field and get meaningful in-game snaps, it's huge. Just to calm them down, to get them comfortable, to slow the game down for them. I'm expecting him to make a big jump. Year 1 to year 2, those are huge, usually huge jumps for guys in this game.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it, man.
Ryan, what do you expect? Sorry, go ahead and skip me.
Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Gotcha. Hi, I'm Andy I'm going to be the new writer from Decatur. Nice to meet you. I guess just kind of start this time around in spring, kind of having your second year, does that kind of create a different starting point with all the guys? And if so, does that kind of allow you to do differently this time around?
I'm sorry, Andy, I didn't get the second part of that question.
Oh, no, it's good. I guess this being kind of your second go around with a lot of these guys in the spring, what does that kind of change the starting point for you guys this spring? And what does that kind of allow you guys to do differently this spring camp than last year?
Yeah, one, welcome Andy to the team here. But there's definitely a different starting point. But at the same time, you still got to start from day one install. Now that day one install looks a little bit different this spring than it did last year, just because I feel like we've got a better understanding of who we are from an identity standpoint. And like I said, it just allows you to dive deeper into the totality of the defense and getting everybody sort of aware of the whys from a unit standpoint of why we're doing things. And then, hopefully what that looks like is we'll be able to move on to different installs at a faster pace than we did a year ago. And so you can start getting to more of your situational defenses and growing some third down packages or red zone goal line packages as well.
Hey, Coach, this is Kendrick. Can you tell us how Shaman Cooper's looked early in workouts? He was a highly touted kid coming out of high school. How has he looked so far in workouts?
Hey, Kendrick, how you doing, man? Shaman he's a guy that's going to be consistently showing up to work every day and giving it everything he's got. He's, pound for pound, he might be one of the stronger guys we have he is one of the stronger guys we have on defense. And so it's just, for him, the spring is going to be huge on taking advantage of the reps and competing to try to gain and solidify a spot.
Brian, let's try this again. Apologize, but what are you
problem.
expecting out of Calvin Hart, and how you can slowly work him back in after an injury like that?
Yeah, I don't even think we need to slowly work him back in, man. He attacked the rehab process. He's been cleared by the docs, and obviously they know, in spring you don't want to rush a guy back, especially a guy that has the potential that he has. So CJ has been doing great. I'm excited I know he's excited to get back on the field. Obviously we'll be smart with him, especially early, but he's got the green light to go, and this offseason he has.
And I wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned the nose, the depth you have at nose, but specifically with Burgess and Calvin, just can you foresee them playing it with the weight that they're at right now at the nose, or is that a work in progress still as you work through spring ball and then maybe through fall camp?
I think for everybody, like the weights are always a work in progress. You can always go one way or the other if you're not paying attention to it. Obviously for those guys, they've got to have good weight on them. They've got to be able to play, multiple snaps and at an effective rate. I mean, it's the nose guard, right? Like you're standing right in front of the center every snap. So they understand how important that is, and they've been doing a great job with Tank and his crew, and with Jade and her crew with the nutrition department. So we expect those guys to be pros and act like pros and be ready to go when the time comes.
Ryan, I had a quick another personnel question. Cornerbacks, you had all those freshmen come in and they seem like they all bring a little bit of talent. So we haven't seen most of them. So what does each of them kind of bring to the group, and what are you hoping to see out of them this spring?
Yeah, I mean, they know, from day one, our first meeting, I kind of had all those guys stand up and say, listen, this defense is counting on you guys to pick up where we left off, and somebody's got to step up into that starting role, that leadership role, and be able to make plays for us. So I'm expecting them to do just that. They understand the defense. They're all of them are smart kids and work hard. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see the competition there and to see where that group goes and what that means for us defensively.
I know you didn't recruit them, but what do you make of the talent of that group? And did anyone catch your attention last year? I know Tyler and Daniel travel with you guys.
Yeah, like Tyler and Daniel traveled. DD, when he was available, you can tell he's a smart, headsy player. All of them have really good ball skills. They can all run. And all are good kids. Like I said, from a character standpoint, and they're all tight with each other too. So, like I said, the competition is going to be fun.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Ryan, I want to go back to when you first met Keith and Johnny a year ago, and just maybe how far those two come over the course of that year. They feel like they could be kind of pillars for what you guys want to do defensively.
Yeah, they're going to have to be pillars for us, and they have been, through this winter workouts. I just think from a maturity standpoint, both of them have grown. They seem more comfortable, just in their own skin and more confident. Obviously, just the natural progression of becoming a man and getting a year older from a maturity standpoint helps. But I think also the fruits of their labor on the field, and the success they had at times on the field sort of breeds confidence, allows for confidence. And so that confidence and that play's got to be huge for us. It's got to be infectious for us, from a defensive standpoint, and hopefully that helps put us in position to be in a win column.
And then one silly question for clarity: is Shimon inside or outside linebacker?
He's playing inside right now.
Okay, thank you.
One more quick one, Ryan. You lost some of your top edge rushers, Isaiah Gay and Owen Carney. How do you feel about the outside linebacker position heading into spring ball? And are you looking for somebody to step up and fill those shoes?
Yeah, like I said earlier, obviously those two guys played the majority of the snaps, but Seth Coleman and Zeke Combs, they played some meaningful snaps a year ago, and they look comfortable. They look like leaders. They look like starters coming into spring ball, and then behind those guys we've got DJ Johnson, who's extremely athletic, and played a little bit a year ago, and then we got the Jared Beatty, who came in at a semester, who's done a terrific job and looks like a collegiate athlete right now. And then we got Gabe Backus and coming in the fall, we'll count on, and also Alec Bryan, who sat from a transfer standpoint last year, that he kind of reminds you of Owen Carney, just the way he's built. And so the spring will be huge for him, but I'm confident in that group, and I think we might be deeper than we probably were a year ago in that room.
Thank you.
Ryan, Tank was pretty glowing about Prince Green in the winter conditioning and the mat drills kind of thing. Is that somebody you're excited about in your room, and how do you feel like that may translate to the field come spring and maybe fall camp?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Prince is going to do because of, like you said, because of what he's done this semester. You know, I see him up here, you know, more than I did during the fall, just trying to get extra work. You know, I think he's been up shoot almost every afternoon, just watching film. His body looks different. You know, he's more confident, more comfortable. You know, it's hard it can be hard to leave home and be out on your own in a completely different environment. And so I just think he's more comfortable now. You know, the guys in that room have embraced him and are confident in him as well. So I'm excited to light a fire under him a little bit this spring and baptize him into what we got going.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Right.